This video is intended to inform seagoing personnel of the concept of bridge resource management and to gain the understanding of the human factors involved and the ability to control them. Bridge resource management is such a critical part of navigational safety that it is a requirement of the International STCW Convention and the ISM Code. This video contains 10 subjects: Introduction, Bridge Organization and Procedures, Pilot and Bridge Team Integration, Voyage Planning, Situational Awareness and Error Trapping, Communications, Stress, Fatigue, Leadership and Group Decision Making, and Conclusion. Bridge Resource Management, or BRM, is a method which uses all resources available to conduct safe and efficient vessel bridge functions. These resources include both equipment and personnel. It takes both traditional skills to operate the equipment as well as managerial skills to use personnel resources to their potential. In order to best utilize the personnel aboard your vessel, you must understand the human factors involved. Human factors such as communications, situational awareness, stress, fatigue, leadership and decision-making, and group dynamics and integration are all discussed in this video. The National Transportation Safety Board has determined that human factors was one of the causative factors in 75 to 80% of all marine casualties. Because BRM has become so important in preventing such casualties, the STCW has made the requirement that all shipboard officers demonstrate an understanding of the concepts which constitute effective bridge resource management. The concepts or keys of effective BRM include good situational awareness, obtaining relevant information early, building a detailed and shared mental model of the situation, detailed and thorough planning, defined organization and procedures, using cautious and safe strategies, as well as keeping options open as long as possible, making realistic decisions sensitive to constraints, sharing the workload, and monitoring progress by cross-checking with each member of the bridge team. In addition, it is important to have good vertical communications, making sure to include the unlicensed personnel. The bridge personnel's performance is essential to the safety of the vessel. In order to achieve a sound and efficient bridge organization, defined procedures including master standing orders are essential. Procedures should be established to ensure duties are clearly defined and assigned to certain individuals. Effective procedures will minimize the risk that an error by one person will have disastrous and irreversible consequences. No one should be assigned more than they can handle, and no duty should be reassigned without notifying the watch officer. A visual lookout should always be maintained. In good visibility, it is good practice to periodically undertake collision avoidance routines in order to be fully prepared if difficult situations subsequently arise in reduced visibility. To counter increased workloads and increased risks, specific watch conditions should be established for restricted visibility, heavy traffic, and pilotage conditions. It is important to make sure that all equipment needed is available and functioning. If equipment is not functioning, its limitations and errors should be correctly applied. The use of all available means to fix the position of the vessel should be used. Passage planning and methods of navigation by which continuous monitoring of cross-track error should be used when navigating in coastal waters. Pilots are a valuable addition to the bridge team. There must be a good exchange of information between the pilot and the bridge team so each is aware of the other's intentions. In assigning duties during increased manning situations, careful consideration should be given to the ergonomic layout of the bridge. The concept of zones of responsibility takes this into consideration, and duties are assigned so that personnel are not interfering with each other, but can share critical information. Checklists should be used. They are a good written memory aid used to accomplish a series of tasks, but they should not be used as a substitute for thorough knowledge of the ship or procedures. Checklists have many benefits. These include focusing attention on the task at hand, helping establish priorities, serving as an aid against failure of human memory, especially during periods of stress or emergency, helping to balance workload, and eliminating guesswork and instituting standard procedures. The STCW Convention requires that new crew members be given vessel familiarization training prior to assuming any duties, and masters and mates have knowledge of bridge teamwork principles. The STCW clearly defines the relationship between the pilot, master, and the officer in charge of the navigational watch. Despite the duties and obligations of pilots, it is important to remember that their presence on board does not relieve the master or officer in charge of the navigational watch from their duties and obligations for the safety of the ship. Because of this, an open flow of information on the bridge between a pilot and the bridge team is essential. The bridge team must be aware of the difficulties and constraints of the pilotage area, and the pilot must be aware of the characteristics and particulars of the ship. When a pilot is aboard, he must become part of a cooperation effort working with the bridge team. There are 4 distinct stages in the planning and achievement of a safe passage: appraisal, planning, execution, and monitoring. Actual formation of the voyage plan begins with appraisal. This is the process of gathering together all data relative to the contemplated voyage. It should include navigational information shown on charts and found in publications. References should also be made to climatic data and meteorological information. Having made the most complete appraisal possible using all the available information, the navigation officer must submit it to the master, and then act on his or her instructions to prepare a voyage plan. The plan should embrace the entire voyage, from berth to berth. The plan should include provisions for execution. These are the how-tos of the plan. They should include waypoints and narrative descriptions of what to do and when to do it. Monitoring is necessary to ensure that the plan is followed accurately. It should include parallel indexing, head marks, and danger bearings. Monitoring also includes provisions for rejoining the plan if you deviate from it, as well as arrangements for situations where tides are missed or ETAs are changed. A complete voyage plan is important since it provides documentation that good seamanship was practiced. Situational awareness is an accurate perception of the factors and conditions that affect the ship and the crew during a specific period of time. The following elements will lead to good situational awareness: knowing the position, course, speed, and underkeel clearance, knowing the navigation equipment accuracy and status, knowing hazards to navigation, weather conditions, ship's condition and crew condition, and the crew and pilot's mutual knowledge of intentions. When we lose situational awareness, we increase the potential for human error. Warnings that situational awareness has been degraded include ambiguity, distraction or preoccupation, general feeling of uncertainty, break in communication, departure from voyage plan, violation of rules, regulations, or standard operating procedures, improper con or lookout, and complacency or overconfidence. The complexity of operating a modern-day vessel and the interactions within and outside the bridge team provide the opportunity for errors. There are three types of human errors: failure to adequately plan for events, failure to know and follow established procedures, and failure of the members of a group working toward a common goal to adequately communicate with one another. Accidents are rarely caused by a single event. It is usually a sequence or chain of events that cause an accident. Breaking an error chain or error trapping is essential to preventing accidents. All bridge team members must be able to identify error chains and be empowered to take corrective action, and AB should be encouraged to speak out. Communication is the exchange of information, thoughts, or feeling. To be effective communicators, the need to understand the various types of communication is imperative. The most effective type of communication is face-to-face. This enables you to receive visual as well as spoken information. Verbal communications include all types of radio and telephone communications. It is important to choose your words carefully and speak them loudly, clearly, and concisely due to the lack of visual stimuli. The least effective communication is written. An effective communication process includes the sender, the message, the receiver, and the feedback. The sender should be conveying information necessary for the mission accomplishment. He or she must be proactive in making the receiver understand the message. The message should consist of correct terminology and be clearly sent to the receiver. The receiver should be active in the communication process and give message feedback. Feedback can include acknowledgement, repeating, or paraphrasing. Once the receiver has given feedback, the communication process is completed when the sender acknowledges it. In understanding the relationship between stress and performance, it is important to first consider the effects of stress on the body. There are three stages associated with stress: the state of alarm, resistance, and exhaustion. The initial state of alarm takes the body by surprise, and the ability to cope with the stress is reduced. As the body fights or resists the original source, the symptoms gradually disappear. The body adapts to the higher level of stress, but the ability to cope with other stress begins to fade. Eventually, we are unable to cope with the original stress, and exhaustion sets in. Exhaustion occurs when the body's resources have been depleted. Not all stress is bad. Studies show that the body performs best when under moderate stress. Too little stress causes boredom or complacency, while too much diminishes situational awareness and causes panic. Good bridge team leaders will not only deal with stress within themselves, but will perceive and accommodate stress in other team members. This includes reducing an individual's workload or assigning tasks based on ability and experience. Fatigue is defined as weariness or exhaustion from work, overexertion, inadequate sound sleep, or the cumulative effects of poor sleep over several days. Fatigue slows visual perception, decision-making, mental arithmetic, and impairs memory recall. Signs of fatigue are errors of omission, slower task performance, decreased morale and motivation, poor communications, and sleeping on duty. Two strategies for fatigue countermeasures are the preventive and the operational strategies. Preventive strategies are used before and between duty periods. This includes getting the best possible sleep before reporting on board. You should begin operations as sleep-satiated as possible, getting 8 hours of sleep in any 24-hour period. Trust your own physiology. If you feel sleepy and circumstances permit, then sleep. A basic rule is if you wake spontaneously and cannot go back to sleep within 15 to 30 minutes, you then get up. Strategic napping and good sleep habits are also part of the preventive strategy. Studies show that effective naps can improve performance. Naps before any duty period should be limited to 45 minutes. Naps at other times should be more than 2 hours. Good sleep habits include a pre-sleep routine, possibly utilizing relaxation techniques. A dark, quiet room with a comfortable temperature is also important. Regular exercise will improve your quality of sleep. Because the ship's schedule does not always allow these preventive strategies to be followed, it is important to discuss operational strategies. The following can be used to increase alertness while on duty. Physical action, conversations on professional topics, strategic caffeine consumption, balanced nutrition, and staying well hydrated. The promotion of bridge resource management is based on the concept of synergy. Synergy is described as the total of the individuals in cooperation is greater than the sum of the individuals taken by themselves. The best leaders share their information, communicate openly, and encourage participation. The respect of others and the ability to share workload are also traits of a good leader. Maintaining a constructive and positive attitude and keeping a receptive atmosphere coupled with honesty are necessities of productive leaders. Decision-making is an essential skill for operational team leaders. Team members participate in the problem-solving process by contributing timely and valuable information to the team leader. In order to make a positive decision, information must be gathered and cross-checked. Alternatives and contingencies must be identified so that possible solutions may be explored. This video should be used as a guide to BRM and is by no means all-inclusive. However, if the aforementioned processes are implemented, the goal to safer and more efficient vessel operations through bridge resource management will be well underway.